That's right, Blair. We are right now on Bourbon Street, which has fully reopened just a few hours ago. And it really does feel like things are returning back to normal here. But everyone wants to know, why was Bourbon Street not protected?
Securing Bourbon Street one day after a deadly attack. Workers deploy stronger temporary barricades to stop a future threat, because on New Year's Day, New Orleans' existing bollard barricades weren't working.
I'm standing in the middle of Bourbon Street, right on top of one of the old broken bollard systems. There are 2 stationary bollards on either side, but there used to be 4 bollards, 2 stationary bollards, and 2 moving bollards on rails, but they're gone. They were removed because they would not only get stuck open, but also get stuck closed, blocking Bourbon Street to all vehicles, including ambulances and fire trucks.
If in fact that's correct, that they were not operable, that's unacceptable. And if they were not operable, there should have been a plan B. There should have been a tow truck, there should have been a fire truck, there should have been some other item or something steadfast there to disallow any vehicles from being able to plow through the crowd.
We combed through documents all the way back to 2017 showing the city knew about the terror threat, including this assessment labeling the French Quarter as a risk and target area for terrorism that the FBI has identified as a concern that the city must address. New Orleans installed that first set of bollards right before the 2018 Sugar Bowl. The sliding mechanisms worked until they got jammed with all sorts of things, including Mardi Gras beads.
After the original bollards failed, the city started relying on these wedge barriers that were put in place. They can be dropped to allow delivery vehicles and emergency vehicles in, but they stop a truck or car attack. Yet look at the sidewalk. There's no barricade here, though it does appear they place them near pre-existing obstructions like light poles and fire hydrants.
The wedge barriers were intentionally down on New Year's to make sure emergency vehicles could get through. Only a police car was blocking Bourbon at Canal Street. The attacker whipped his truck around it on the sidewalk and drove nearly 4 blocks down a virtually barrier-free Bourbon Street. Did he know he could get through? Google Street View shows no bollards in 2017, then the original bollards in place in 2018, and then those wedge barriers in 2022. But the city also published the fact its bollards weren't working on the Public Works Department website. Multi-year plans for the ongoing project to replace the bollards are online, complete with a map of where they aren't now and a timeline showing that the new barriers would not be in place until just before the Super Bowl next month. The question remains, had the new bollards been in place and deployed, could anyone have driven as far or as fast?
We are back now live here in New Orleans, where once again Bourbon Street is reopened right now, and it's even reopened to vehicular traffic in certain places. You can see the cross streets right here behind me. There are cars driving behind or in front of the world famous John Lafitte's, one of the oldest bars in the United States, claiming to be the oldest. They are reopened here, but there does seem to be a failure of imagination, including not understanding that someone could drive up on the sidewalk and that maybe they needed barricades there too. We're going to stay on this story. I'm Brendan Keefe, Chief Investigator, Atlanta News First Investigates.